have never so bad in my life gotten the urge to read, and it's weird. And I don't know how I feel. Hey, it's me. I'm back. I'm Paige. I like reading. And funny that I say I like reading because I actually haven't picked up a book in like 5 months. Whoops. I could give you a really long-winded story about how life is hard sometimes and life gets busy and you put things on hold, and that's how we ended up here, but that seems boring and I don't want to do that, so let's just pretend like nothing ever happened. Okay. However, I am not kidding when I say that I think it has been like 5 months since I've picked up a book. I literally haven't touched any of the ones I was currently reading in like since April, and I haven't read anything else since then. So we're breaking that streak today though. As of today, which is August 18th at 11:53 p.m., I have decided that I want to read again. Why? I don't know. This is honestly a really inconvenient time in my life, but what better time to pick up a book? A brand new book. I couldn't pick a better one. I quite literally just for the giggles picked up my Kindle to see what was going on there because I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll read. So I'm not staring at like blue light before I go to bed. That's something I can do. And actually for the longest time, for literally 4 months, I could not get my Kindle to connect to my Wi-Fi, but I finally got it to work again. And because of that, I browsed like the Kindle, what you can buy in Kindle Unlimited for the first time in 4 months, well 5 months, and I found something that looks really intriguing, and my brain is like, yeah, we're gonna pick this up and we're gonna read it right now at 11:54 at night when you have work in the morning and your Kindle's at 9% battery. I'm like actively currently downloading the book that I want to read, which is The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes. Did I read that right? The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes by Tiffany Hunt. Honestly, I don't know anything about it. The cover just looked appealing, and then I read the description, and all I read was morally gray, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's all I need. Because this is just giving like comedy, you know, like funny, fantasy, because it's Dark Lord, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. That's right up my alley. That's right. That's my cup of tea right there, and that's what we're doing right now. Yeah. Honestly, don't know how much I'm gonna read or anything like that. I'm not turning my lights on. I'm gonna go read The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes, and I'm gonna let you know how this goes in a little bit, and hopefully get better at this whole reading vlog thing again. Yay! Yay! Okay, I'm gonna go read now.
Okay, so believe it or not, despite the fact that it is dark outside, less my lamplight, and I'm in pajamas, and it's dark, and it's night, it is actually a different day. It's a different day, that's all you need to know. So I went back and watched like my intro to this video, and oh my lord, I forgot how to vlog. I'm sorry. So please allow me to like restate what I said, but in a lot more mature terms before we start talking about what's going on here, because wow, I don't know what that was. I obviously have not seen you guys for a very long time, probably like 4 or 5 months. I literally have not picked up any books in that time because I got really busy with life in general. I graduated college, started working a couple more part-time jobs in addition to running my business, which I have had markets almost every single weekend this entire summer, and reading just got 100% put on the back burner, and I actually experienced reading burnout, which was fantastic. I would get these like couple of hours where I'd be like, wow, I'd really want to read a book. And then when I would sit down to do it, I would despise it. I wouldn't want to do it. And so I just didn't force myself to do it. It's actually really funny because the same thing happened to me last year. It just only happened for like a month and a half rather than like 4 months. So the reading slump, like time is growing, which is just not great. But we are back in reading again finally, and like I'm really excited about this, so let's talk. The book I decided to pick up first when coming back into reading is not one on any TBR. It is not one I was currently reading when I stopped reading, period. It is completely new to me and it just looked appealing, so I picked it up. That book is The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes by Tiffany Hunt. I am only 8% of the way into this book, which is about 30 pages, and I kid you not, found out right before I started filming this that this book is over 500 pages long. I clearly did not know that when I picked it up, otherwise I would not have picked this book to start with when coming back from a 5-month-long reading slump, but I'm actually really enjoying it right now, so I'm not gonna switch books that I'm reading. I do, however, feel like I have forgotten how to read because I really don't know how to put what's up here and right in front of me into like words y'all can understand, other than this just reminds me a lot of the assistant to the villain right now. Nowhere near in the same like relationship that those two have, but it's the banter that's really like, oh, that's what's connecting me to it. I love assistant to the villain. I believe I liked apprentice to the villain, so this is actually making me really, really happy. I am putting absolutely zero pressure on myself to like finish this book by a certain time or, you know, I don't know, finish it, period. I am just simply reading to read, which is what this vlog is me coming back to reading and just reading what I want to read for like a week, I guess. I don't know how long this is gonna go on. We'll see. I was really just talking out of the void there for a second, but I am just totally enthralled with this book and I do want to continue reading it, so that's what we're gonna do. Like I said, I can't put what is here and here, which is okay for right now. I'm just glad that I remember how to read and that I'm enjoying it, and we're gonna leave it at that. But I am about to start chapter 7, which is meet your villain's quirky staff before they collect more bodily samples. And this is, I'm excited. I'm so excited. So without further ado, let's continue reading the first book I have picked up in 5 months. I am so happy.
Good morning, my friends. It's actually like, well, it's actually not morning. It's not even close to morning. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's like, yeah, it's 6:30 at night, but the sun is up and we are talking, and it is technically the next day, so good afternoon, morning. That makes sense. So last night we read to, I believe, chapter 12 in our little book here. Let me open it up. Yeah, we read to chapter 12. I had a fantastic time. This book is getting so good. Like, it's really nothing special, but it's hooked me, and I'm stuck. But because I'm stuck, all that I have been thinking about all day today is sitting down and reading this book, which is exactly what I'm gonna go do right now. So I'm a little bit better at putting the thoughts here and the words here into something we can talk about here now. And what I have to say is that this really is a typical, straightforward romantic plot. We have our main guy and we have our main gal. Our main guy kidnapped our main gal because he needs a marriage for something, to deal with some ancient artifact that he needs her blood for, which is why they got married. I don't really know exactly why that matters yet because our main female character doesn't know and we're mostly in her perspective, so I'm like not entirely sure what's going on, but that's the basis of it. They literally just got married, and then I read like one chapter of the party afterwards, and he's like the dark, evil, brooding king who everyone is like scared of and no one can attack and things like that. You know, literally so typical fantasy romance. But I haven't read one in so long that I am eating it the heck up. I am so enjoying myself. I could read this every day. In fact, I think that the next book we pick up is going to be another fantasy romance. But I'm not even done with this. But like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I am right now. That's how I'm feeling, and I wanted to share my thoughts. But I'm loving it, and I really am so excited to be here. So I'm gonna go eat my dinner while reading the book. I am delusional and think I'm gonna finish this tonight. Oh no, I'm totally not gonna finish this tonight. I have 8.5 hours left, but I do think we're gonna get a really good chunk of this done because this is all that I want to do for the rest of my night. So, we are starting on chapter 12, but I'm eating food while reading, and then we're gonna read in its entirety. So it's gonna be a hot second, but if anything out of this world crazy happens, I will absolutely pause and come talk to you. But if not, I'm just gonna keep reading, and we're gonna have a cute little montage, time-lapse moment, and I'll see you later. I really don't have much more to say than that. Okay? Fantastic. I'm gonna go read my book. So, it is the next morning. I have continued to read The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes. I believe I am on like chapter 25-30 now, somewhere in that area. I don't know. I fell asleep reading. But thoroughly enjoying it. Love it. It's fantastic. And I 100% have plans to finish that book. However, my little brain right now needs some serotonin of, ooh, I finished a book, so I want to pick up another one and continue that cycle. And I don't think I'm even 50% of the way through A Dark Lord's Guide to Dating, which is fine. I knew that once I realized that it was a 10-hour long book, time-wise on the Kindle, but I kind of want the satisfaction now. So to make my little brain chemicals happy, we are going to put The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating on pause for later, at a later date, and pick up a book from my middle school shelf instead. The reason I'm picking my middle school shelf is because they are all such short books. They are just so easy to read in like 2 to 3 hours for like 85% of the books that are in this case. Normally when I pick out a book, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to run my finger and then we're going to pick one. But I don't think that's how we're going to do it today. I don't really know where to put you. How about right here? Will you sit there? I am literally just going to look at the books in here and pick one that's speaking to me because I, again, don't want to lose this newfound love for reading that I just discovered again. There are literally so many books on this shelf and so many things to choose from. So I know I can find something that I'll be like, cool, yeah, I'll read that. Just not 100% sure what that's going to be yet. I almost want to pick up this book, which is called The Dreamer by Pam Ryan and Peter Sis, I believe it is. I'm not sure how to pronounce that lovely human's last name. As you can tell, I've actually already read this once, but I can't remember anything about it. But I do remember, like, vividly, this is so weird. I vividly remember being in, like, 6th grade, standing in line for math class outside the teacher's door, because that's how we did it at my middle school, and I was reading this in line, and I was so mad that I accidentally damaged the cover. And I remember really liking this book. I don't know if that would still pertain to 19-year-old me, but 12-year-old me thought that was fire. Oh my gosh, Kate DiCamillo. DiCamillo? I love her. Maybe I pick up one by her. She was by far one of my favorite middle school authors. Kate DiCamillo. I don't think I ever finished this one either. Louisiana's Way Home. I think this is one of her newer ones. Newer to me is 2018, apparently. This book came out in 2018. Yeah, because I'm like, isn't she on a train? Yeah, she's like traveling somewhere. I don't really want to read more about it than that. But I think we might pick this guy up. She's only 227 pages. I feel like this is what we're going to go with. This feels right to me. Yeah, okay. We are going to sit down and read Louisiana's Way Home by Kate DiCamillo. I still don't know how to pronounce her name 8 years later. I don't really know what's going to happen in here, so we will see if we'll talk about it along the way or if we'll just talk at the end. We'll probably just talk at the end. But nonetheless, I am excited to figure out where Louisiana is going. Maybe she's going to Louisiana. You want to go find out with me? Let's go find out. Alrighty, so it is obviously a very long time later. The sun has gone down. We're up in the bedroom. It is almost my sleepy time, but I did finish Louisiana's Way Home by Kate DiCamillo, and we need to talk about it. I always, when going into books that I've been carrying around since middle school, don't have any expectations, and if I do, they're like literally the floor. It is the bar or lower. Not in a rude way, but in the way of they typically don't have as much like mental depth as like my current as like adult books do. That's what I'm trying to get at. Mental depth of a middle schooler is a lot different than the mental depth of an adult. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it should be. However, this book almost had me crying. I really do think that this is most likely due to the fact that I have been very emotional for the past like week and a half. But I did almost cry reading this. I was wrong though. She doesn't run away. Her and her grandmother leave Florida and start driving up through Georgia, and then this whole thing happens where they end up getting stuck in Georgia for a certain reason, and then they just kind of keep going down this path of following the story. That feels like the dumbest way to explain it, but truly, they leave Florida, end up in Georgia, and then get stuck there. That's kind of what happens, and then we were in the perspective of this kid, Louisiana, okay? But about halfway through the book, the entire narrative of it kind of shifts. Like, it goes from like road trip to looking inside yourself and the human that you are. And I think this kid's like maybe 13. It doesn't even say, but this has got to be like a pretty small kid, because she keeps talking about freaking Pinocchio, okay? Weird, I know, but she does just keep talking about Pinocchio. So that shit was kind of weird. They're talking about who you want to be at 8 years old. She could be older, and I could like be totally missing the mark, but I'm like, it feels very adult in some cases. I don't know how old Louisiana is. I can sit here and stare at the book, but I'm never gonna figure it out. I don't think she's older than middle school, okay? And to have multiple people, like adult figures in the book, tell her you get to decide the person you want to be and what you're gonna do. That felt kind of weird to me, to tell an 8-year-old. I also don't have children, and I don't know anybody who has children, like my age, who has kids. You get what I'm saying? Who the are there people my age who have kids? I'm gonna set myself in a spiral. All that I'm saying is it felt kind of weird to be talking about that with an 8-year-old. But the message was cute, and I understood like what they were saying in the big kid form. And that's why I was almost crying. It's like, oh, but I mean, other than that, this really wasn't anything special. The pacing was kind of weird, and I didn't get really attached to super many of the characters. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of here. You know what I mean? It's just kind of here. I also did realize once I logged this in my Goodreads that this is actually the second book in a 3-book series. It doesn't pertain. Maybe it'll pertain if I ever go back and read the first one. I don't even think I own the first one, but like, didn't matter. You know, just in case you want to pick this up and read about Louisiana, you can. You don't have to read about whoever the heck was in the first book. I don't know. All about to freaking say, I gave Louisiana's Way Home a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really do think the rating is kind of high, and if I would have read this in like my high reading season, it would not be as high, but that's what it is now, and it's gonna stay there. I'm probably not gonna move it, but that does mean that I have officially finished my first book in over 5 months at this point, and I'm ecstatic about it. I'm so happy. I like genuinely have never been so happy in my life. I did it, guys. I read a book from cover to cover. Oh, cover to freaking cover. And this absolutely gave me the serotonin boost that I need. Serotonin? Whatever the happy freaking chemical is, because now I want to go sit down and read another book and feel that feeling of logging in Goodreads again. Your girl missed that. Your girl really did miss that. But with that, I think I can officially say that we are back in reading full swing, which means that next Wednesday, we're going to be doing something else fun. I have no idea what we're going to be doing next Wednesday, but this was a great, wonderful reintroduction to one of my favorite hobbies that I am so sad that I've been missing out on so much. Thank you all so much for coming with me on this little mini read with me type situation. It started off kind of weird in the beginning. I think I forgot how to film, but I think I'm getting better. It's getting better. We're getting there. Hopefully next week I'll improve even more. Okay? We can only go up. But until then, you guys stay safe, happy, healthy, and I hope that your book worlds are treating you just as well as mine treat me, and I cannot wait to see y'all later. A-Town. Peace up. Peace up. A-Town. How's it go? A-Town. Yeah. Ush, ush. A-Town. Isn't it like... It was before my time, I think. I think that was before my time.